And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Always Pressing PGA DFS podcast, previewing the 2024 British Open, aka the Open Championship. Depends on what term they're using these days, but I call it the British Open. We'll preview that for you there at in Troon at Royal Troon. That should be a fun one. But we're also here to recap the Scottish Open and much, much more. You can find me on Twitter at BDentric, the podcast at Always Press DFS, and my co-host, as always, on Twitter at DFS Golf Gods. Jesse, how we doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. Bobby Mack, onions, absolutely crazy stuff. I know some people aren't excited about the drop he got on the par 5. I believe at 16. But all in all, fun tournament. I know you watched more than I did. So what are your takeaways from the Scottish Open?
I did. It's just fun to watch different golf than what we get week in and week out on the PGA Tour. So overall, I just feel like it kind of delivers every year. Adam Scott kind of out of nowhere, and leading in the clubhouse, and then Bobby gets that drop, but he deserved to win that tournament. I mean, It's his home tournament. It's the one he wanted more than anything, he said. So good for him, and he's playing really good golf this year. So kudos to him on winning that. I can't believe you didn't mention the ISCO Championship.
Oh, sorry. That was the unofficial 5th major. I missed it. Who ended up winning that one? Because I kept checking the scoreboards, and my God, it was a wild group of names on that thing.
Harry Hall.
That's why he withdrew from the was it Barracuda this week?
Yeah, because he got into the Open Championship.
Yeah, that's what.
5-way playoff.
Ooh, that's theater, folks.
Yeah, and it went 3 holes, and then Harry chipped in on the not on the 3rd playoff hole, which is the 9th hole, which is a par 3. And the ISCO Championship always delivers. Unfortunately, it's the last year. It's going to be at Champions in Nicholasville. So I know a lot of people are very sad that that's moving on. You could tell by the live crowds that were there this week.
I get what you're saying there. Yeah, it's a shame I missed that. He couldn't find it, I guess, when I needed to find it. That's a shame. But I did actually, weirdly enough, like Thursday and Friday, I was doing work in my office at night, and I usually always watch the replays that are on there, and they weren't replaying the Scottish Open, they were replaying the ISCO, so I got to catch up on some of that on the weekday evenings. Sadly missed it on the weekends, but I might have to go back and check that out, because the 5-way playoff's always fun no matter what golf tournament it is.
Right.
And have they said where it's going to next?
I'm pretty sure it's going to a course in Louisville.
Well, that's gone well for the PGA Tour of late, so that could be fun. We'll see how
it's going to be the same field, so Scotty's not going to have to be there, so no worries.
Well, it's going to be even harder for the cops to decipher who's who. That's awesome. But we'll just worry about that at a later date and time. The Scottish Open, the one thing I was going to say, you mentioned the Adam Scott part. It's one of the reasons I love links golf the most is it lets everybody in. Like all skill sets. We'll really see it with Troon this week. It's such either a great or / annoying, depends on how you look at it, just the way a ball bounces. Because it could be a really good golf shot, but now you're in a fairway, bunker, or you're just far enough into the thick stuff. Or there's just so many different levels to links golf. It's fun, and the ball runs, and so on and so forth. So it'll be fun to talk about. Rory made his return, had a few words to say about his experience at the U.S. Open and how that went for him, because we haven't really seen him since then. So that was fun, and Morikawa played well. But a bunch of Euro guys showed up in the top section of the deal. So good stuff there. Ludwig continues to struggle on Sundays. That's been a trend these days. So let's see how that goes.
Yes, it has. Yeah, because he looks just awesome, tee to green, especially the first 3 days. And he fell apart again. He couldn't hit a fairway to save his life again on Sunday.
And then you could tell he was annoyed by Bobby Mack's slow play. So that when he duffed that chip after Bobby got his drop, it was a good night from there.
Yeah.
But all right, let's talk British Open. This should be a fun one as always. It's like one of the oldest golf tournaments in the world, and it's got tradition like any other. Not trying to steal the Masters phrase, but you know what I mean. So, what do you have for some past event history for the British Open?
Yeah, obviously it's a rotation of courses, kind of like the U.S. Open, but they actually keep the same courses generally in rotation. So The last time it was played here was 2016. That was Henrik Stenson. He won at 20 under, 3 shots over Phil Mickelson. It was a hell of a duel on Sunday. I'm pretty sure though, like third place was like maybe 8 shots back. Do you remember?
Yeah. I believe I heard. I was listening to something today. I think third place was like 6 under, so like 10 shots back of Phil at second.
Oh, really? So
Yeah,
it was that far back.
they ran away with it. Like that's how much. So they were saying that Phil basically wins like 95% of every other major he plays, and it was like versus the competition for how well he played.
Right. Yeah. So that's interesting. That's a little bit of a misleading potentially winning score then.
Yes.
Yes. With the majority of the field under 10 under, probably back at 6 under or less. So that's interesting. Otherwise, last year's champion was Brian Harmon, 13 under, 6 shots over Day, Kim, Rahm, and Straka. 2022 was Cam Smith, 20 under, 1 shot over Cameron Young. 2021 was Colin Morikawa, 15 under, 2 shots over Jordan Spieth. And Shane Lowry was the 2019 champion, 15 under, 6 shots over Tommy Fleetwood. Francisco Molinari, 2018 champion, 8 under. I forgot he even won an Open Championship.
That was when he's on his hot streak. He won like 3 or 4 tournaments or something like that.
That's crazy because now he can't make a cut at the ISCO. I don't even know if he played at the ISCO, but like at that kind of field, he can't make a cut at. 8 under, 2 shots over Kisner, Rory, Justin Rose, and Xander. Jordan Spieth, past champion, 2017, 12 under, 3 shots over Matt Kuchar. Tiger Woods in the field this week, much to the dismay of Colin Montgomery, but he's won this 3 times. Won this event 3 times.
Did you see his? Did you see his comments towards Colin?
I did.
That's Tiger 101, folks. Don't mess with the bull.
I understand what Colin's saying, but you don't say it out loud.
Exactly. I think we probably said it on the show actually. Like like the senior tour's calling.
Right.
Like because at least we know you could play good golf there for 3 days and ride in a golf cart. Like give us that. But his ego will never let that happen.
Yeah. Right.
And his comments to Colin proved that. Proved it very clearly. So but sidetrack, the Tiger or Sunday red gear looks horrific. Like I'd rather wear Malbon stuff. I'm sorry.
The only thing that I like about is the hats, but I just can't get behind the logo, man.
No, I mean, horrible.
They just missed the boat with like doing a Tiger fist bump as the logo. I just feel like that would have sold so much more. But he's got plenty of money. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I digress, but I saw some of that stuff. I'm like, good Lord. Like Live Golf has some better logos than that stuff.
I wouldn't put it on like I'd rather wear Malbon stuff because I would never wear Malbon stuff, but it's not great. I agree with that.
I will say there's better Malbon stuff than they put on Jason Day because if everybody watches Willie Wilcox, he's sponsored by Malbon.
Is he?
He actually looks normal when he's caddying for Sung Jae, where it seems like they use Jason Day to make every statement they can known to man.
Yeah,
I can't wait to personally. I can't wait to see what Jason wears this week. I hope he makes the cut so we get 4 days of it. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Right. But, especially if it's going to be rainy. We'll talk about that here in a minute. Yep. So the rain gear.
Yeah. He'll get rain gear, and plus, even Ralph Lauren and all those guys always give like a Euro like kind of twist to these outfits. So, yeah, their imagination's probably running wild on that one.
Yeah, I'd say.
But all right, for the course, it's talked about many, many times. Obviously, I haven't played here in a long time, as you mentioned, but it's Royal Troon. There's a lot of courses in this Troon area, but the Royal Troon Golf Club, it's in Troon, Scotland. It's an ocean links course right off the ocean. A lot of it you go out, then you come back. So the first like 6 or so holes are winds behind you. Then it's a crosswind for 6, and then you're going into the wind. It could be 9 and 9, but you know the gist. It's basically a loop in and out, like most of these links courses are. It's like I said, at par 71, 7,300, almost 7,400 yards. They lengthened it by I believe it was 300 or 400 yards since the last time they played here. So they did a lot of adjustments to change that up as well. Much narrower fairways than pretty much any links course you're going to see. Really, really penal, like the gorse brush and all that kinds of stuff. It gets nasty out there. A lot of there's over 100 bunkers on this golf course. A lot of them strategically placed in the fairway, and we know how fun that can be. It's a really kind of up and down golf course because you have 4 par 4s under 400 yards. You have 6 par 4s over 450. Your par 4s are, they range from the posted stamp on 8, which is very popular on the scorecards, around 125. They'll play it close to 100 or less. On one day, they'll move the tee box up, and there's a bunch of bunkers right in front of it, so you have to be real creative on that hole. And then you have the typical, I was going to call it the railway on number 11, where there's just so much out of bounds on the right side, which a lot of guys will find, especially when the wind comes into play on this golf course, because that's what will happen on a links course. So this turns into you really got to find the fairways. You got to pray you avoid bunkers, kind of like the comment I meant earlier about being able to get the lucky bounces. But you're going to be you might get lucky lies, like, we saw Bobby Mack get the drop in other situations in the thicker grasses. You can, but for the most part, this is nasty here. You mentioned there's going to be rain coming. That'll make the grass even nastier. The greens are some of the smallest greens you'll ever see on a links course, like extremely small. So 3-putt avoidance might not be as big a deal because they do run super slow like most links courses, but they're not massive greens like most links courses. At the same time, I mean, scrambling is even more important. A lot more bunkers in play and whatnot, and just getting up and down. But where the bunkers are placed is like, when we watch St. Andrews, you can putt from 100 yards off. Not so much the case here at Troon. So you got to be able to wedge it up there and get creative with your short game, which probably why Phil did pretty well back in the day at this golf course. It's going to be a really fun golf course. The weather, like Jesse mentioned, he probably can break it down more here in a minute. There's going to be off and on. I've saw anywhere from 25 to 40 mile an hour gusts coming our way. There's rain sprinkled in throughout the week. So first off, what stats are you looking at, and then what have you seen with the weather?
Yeah, I don't really have much to add. I think you did a great job on the course preview there. Par 5 scoring generally matters on these courses, so I do weight that. Birdie or better. I think you can. I don't know. I mean, it's just so hard to say which is going to matter more, bogey avoidance or birdie or better. But I do think that you got to make the birdie, especially for your winner. Accuracy off the tee. Weather-wise, from what I'm seeing, there's a chance of rain every day except for Sunday. Looks like the best day, which obviously doesn't matter too awful much. But I just feel like it's probably going to be a chance, like just stuff blowing in. Right now, I don't see much of a wave advantage, but there is potential that that there is a wave advantage. So if you're doing a lot of lineups, you can stack each side probably, and or wait until we get a little bit more information tomorrow and see what it's like. The wind, I mean, I'm seeing like 14, 15 mile an hour picking up in the afternoon mainly.
It's changed, so that's good.
I mean, it could be obviously gustier than that, but it does look like the mornings are calmer, with the afternoons being kind of the worst. But it looks like it's about the same every day. So I'm just not seeing much. Looks like Saturday's going to be the worst day. But by that point,
you've already
the cut will be made. So
yep,
it doesn't really matter.
And just remember, folks, that the Open Championship, they don't have split tees. They all start on
everybody's going off one. Yeah.
So when Jesse's mentioning split waves, it still comes off of one. So don't think it's a 10 and an 18 thing. It's just the time of the day, of course, as Jesse's talking about. And then if the wind is down, and that makes sense, I guess, because a lot of guys were talking this week from interviews I heard from people that live over in England or Scotland. The way the weather's been and the way it looks like it could be, they're thinking the score is going to be around 14, 15 under, just because you can play in 14-mile-an-hour winds here and still be okay. It just comes down to hitting the fairway. The fairways will play softer, so maybe those annoying running bounces into the bunkers might not be as often type thing, which might help drive. Like, there's so many what ifs. That's links golf in a nutshell when weather takes place. But it's going to be a lot of fun regardless. And also, they will play in the rain, folks. So just they're not in America. They're going to be playing in the rain, barring like insane lightning, which they don't get that as often. They just get rain. They're used to this. So be prepared. And as I saw on Twitter, the Sunday Red advertised their new rain gear today. I saw that ad, the top bottoms and the umbrella for Sunday Red. So like the whole package is about $700.
Yeah, it's expensive.
Dude, I guess the other thing is it costs so goddamn much. Like, Jesus Christ, Tiger, how much money do you need? But so I digress. But all right, enough of that. Let's talk about the DraftKings picks for the week. We have a 5K range because we have Scotty in play, who's almost $13,000 this week. But it's fun because we have 6 guys over 10K. We have 3 in the 11K range. So we have Scotty at 12.8, Bryson at 11.5, Rory at 11.4, Xander at 11.2, John Rahm at 10.4, and Ludwig Aubert at 10.1. So what do you like in this range?
Let me first say I'm glad that they've got Scotty and Bryson 1 and 2, right?
Yeah,
That's just not be able to play them both. I mean, I guess you maybe could. 6,400 left per player, so good luck figuring that out if you do play them both. But I'm glad that I think this pricing is pretty good. So with that being said, Scotty's my clear number one. I don't know, man. Obviously I played him at the U.S. Open. He did not play well at the U.S. Open. PGA Championship was but I just like it. I'm just going to play him again. I've played him at all 3 majors so far. It's worked out for me. I've had good lineups in all 3 of them so far, so I'm going to continue to play Scotty. I think there's a case to be made for Bryson, for Rory, for Xander. Ludwig is very, very, very interesting at 10-1. That's a high price on him, so I don't know. And then John Rahm is kind of the guy that right now, anyways, when I'm looking at projected at 5% owned. I don't know if you saw him recently cussing out his putter, but
yes,
he's got good Open history. If you look at last year, he finished second. The year before that, he finished, or 2021. I don't know where 2022 numbers are here, but we're missing those. 2021, he finished 3rd and 11th in 2019.
I have him in 2021. He finished 3rd. Yeah, I have no.
What about 2022?
34th.
Okay. Yeah, for some reason I don't have that loaded, but so that he has played well at this event, but just a weird time for John Rahm. So good luck figuring that out.
Yeah, right now
he will be low owned, I think. I mean, what are you seeing him at?
I'm seeing him at 11. I'm seeing Bryson at 10, the 2 lowest owned in this range. Both
Really?
the guys. Bryson's got a very rough Open history. I think that's probably what's skewing it. But no one can deny the form coming in. Like the dude's literally.
Yeah.
I would argue I'd like to see him and Scotty like go 1-on-1 at a non-links course. Probably like give me that. Let's see what we got.
Yeah.
But Scotty is the clear cut guy up here. You can go back to him. Like if we're talking good drives, we're talking like he's second in the field over the last 24 rounds. And we're talking par 4s, 350 to 400, which is a good. There's 4 of them. He's first. He's second in bogey avoidance. He's actually first in par 4s, 450 to 500 as well. If you want to throw that in there, he's first in approach. Like even though to some he may be struggling because he hasn't really ever since the Open where things went south. He's still bounced back pretty nicely, obviously, and took care of business at the Travelers. Still the best golfer in the world. So Scotty Scheffler for me is the guy here. Rory's interesting just because I've seen so many stats like over the last 5 or 6 U.S. or British Opens, best numbers like cumulative numbers out there. It's like tee to green, under par, you name it. Rory's been outstanding in these events. Like 6th, 3rd, 42nd, miscut 2nd. So that's 3 top 6s in the last 5 years.
5th here in 2016.
That's a big plus as well. So he's bringing in some amazing game. Like Xander, I love, but even he's never broken through here. He's got a 2nd in 2018, but the 17th and 15th the last 2 years are good. At this price, you need more than good. He does have that. It's like T7, T13, T15. His last 3 events, he's teed it up on tour. So I don't think I'll be going Xander. I get it if you want to, but for me, it's pretty much Scotty and Rory, and maybe sprinkling in some Ludwig is where I'd kind of be looking on this one, at least for now. That's my my priority. But I'm making a handful of lineups, and I probably will have at least one Bryson. I'll be honest right out the gate on that one, but my priority will be Rory, Scotty, and Ludwig in this area. All right, 9K range for you. Colin Morikawa at 99, Victor at 97, Hatton at 95, Fleetwood 93, Cantlay 91, Brooks Koepka 9,000. Who do you like in the 9K range?
Start with Colin. They're at the top, 4th last week, and obviously is a past champion of the Open 2021. He did miss the cut last year, but different course. Victor's interesting. Did you see his quote about like thinking about what people do when they die and stuff? Like,
yeah, he's all over the place, man.
Yeah, I
Like
just
he's
can't
like a
figure him
he's
out.
he's a real life Viking. Like if anybody's seen the shows like Viking, the way they just kind of like have their thoughts, he's there.
Yeah, I mean, 46 last week, 20th at the Travelers doesn't really scream like great form coming in, but it finished 13th at the Open Championship last year. Hatton, 9,500, fifth here in 2016, tied with Rory. 20th at last year's Open Championship, obviously playing live golf, but third last tournament. That was last week, and then first won the Nashville Open, finished 26th at the U.S. Open. So very playable. Tommy Fleetwood did not have a good Sunday last week. Finished 34th, but was coming in with some pretty good form before that. And we just know how he always likes to backdoor in top tens in the majors. You know, finished 10th here or 10th at the Open Championship last year, 33rd, 2021, second, 8th, 9th, 12th. So he's got some good finishes in the past. So yeah, I like everybody except for Brooks and Cantlay.
Yeah, I'm just glad they actually priced Fleetwood up here. Like in years past, it feels like he'd be a mid to low 8 guy.
Yeah, like 8,300 guy or something.
Yep, and everyone's gonna just lock him in. I think a lot will still lock him in. Like if you look at projected ownership here, Fleetwood's at almost over 18% for me at least. So he's going to be popular. It looks like, yeah. But I do like Fleetwood. I like Fleetwood quite a bit, and I love Terrell Hatton. Playing outstanding golf. You mentioned he won over there in Nashville. He's played well in the majors this year. Really hasn't skipped a beat since leaving to live compared to just like his buddy Koepka and company. Hatton still brought it on the links, and he plays great in these link style courses. So I like Hatton at 96 or 95 quite a bit. And I love Morikawa. If for some reason you just say screw the 10K range, you want to start with a couple guys here. Morikawa's fourth in my model. He's great on the par fours. He's great on approach. He's great on bogey avoidance. He's fifth in good drives. And we've been talking about him a lot lately because he hasn't like broke through. But, fourth last week at the Scottish Open, 13th at the Travelers, 14th at the U.S. Open. The form's really, really good there for Morikawa. Now, he's missed his cut in his last two Open championships, but then again, he won in 2021 in his debut. So pick your poison. And honestly, I don't have the scores there. That could have been a draw situation where he just got the bad wind. And that's the problem with the British Opens. You really don't know. It could be something as simple as that, and you miss out on it. So I like calling quite a bit at $9,900, and I'm with you. I think Hovland could show up at any moment. I'll just be off. I'll just miss basically. Like he won't be a priority. Maybe if you make 20 lineups, you sprinkle some in, but he won't be a priority for me. And Cantlay and Brooks, I'm out as well. I hope Brooks proves me wrong. I'm just not there right now. 8K range. You got Cam Smith at 89, Tony Finau at 87, Hideki at 85, Tom Kim at 83, Shane Lowry at 82, Fitzpatrick 81, and Wyndham Clark, who shot 8 under on Sunday to act like we should care about him again at $8,000. What do you like in the 8K range?
Finau at 8,700, 18th at this course in 2016. 3 straight top 10s for Tony coming in on tour. And he missed the cut at the Open Championship last year, but again, don't have 2022 numbers, but had 3 straight top 15s from 18 to 21. So had some good event history, and obviously
28th in 2022.
Okay, so 3 straight top 30s, basically, or 4 straight top 30s. Really 5, 6 if you go back to 2016. So he's not finished outside the top 30 except for this lone miscut last year. So I like Tony quite a bit. Tom Kim at 8,300. We talked about him last week. He finished second last year at the Open Championship, and he's coming off a 15th place finish last week at the Scottish. And then Shane Lowry at 8,200. Now, he missed the cut here in 2016. But if you look at his recent form, 9th Travelers, 19th at the U.S. Open, 6th at the PGA Championship, made the cut, 43rd at the Masters. So has played pretty well at the majors this year. Obviously a past champion, not at this course, but did miss the cut last year at the Open Championship. But those are the three that I really like Tony this week. So GG's to him.
Yep. I'm with you on Tony quite a bit. I'm really looking forward to seeing his exact ownership when things tee off, because right now we're looking at a 19% Tony Finau, which is fair for this price. You mentioned the current form, the history on the links course, the histories in majors. This is too cheap. Like he needs to be with Tommy Fleetwood. And then it's still only $600, and that still makes a difference. Like he's 10th in my model. Fourth in the par fives, second from 150 to 175. So if he's finding the fairway, he can be in for a good day. I'll keep playing Hideki in tournaments. I know he missed the cut last week, but he had really good finishes prior to that. He plays well. He's played well in the Open. He's 11th in my model. He's first around the green last 24, was second in scrambling, but like fourth from 175 out. He's eighth in bogey avoidance, 11th in the par fours. It's just a matter of finding the fairways for Hideki. He'll be really good. Like Tom Kim, you mentioned his history here last year. Rough week last week, but coming in pretty good form prior to that. He's ninth in my model. Shane Lowry, I love at 82. I'm with you. Like the strong finishes, the way he's played in Europe, just links courses. If it does get nasty, he's one of the best nasty weather players out there. So I'll take some Shane Lowry at $8,200. And then last but not least, like similar to my feelings for Hovland, is my feelings for Wyndham Clark. Like I don't want to go all in on Wyndham Clark, but he showcased on Sunday what he can do. He can play in the wind. He also could get just destroyed by like every golfer. The out of bounds, I picture him going out at least once on the railway hole because he's got that left to right ball flight. But exactly, we saw that at the U.S. Open a couple of years ago. He just loves that whole trajectory. But at his price point, it's a thing where this is a guy that wasn't too long ago. Every weekend was continuing Scotty Scheffler to win tournaments, and he's still a very, very good golfer. So yeah, if maybe he gets the good draw and he misses the bad weather, like he could put up a number here. So I think Wyndham Clark at 8K. Similar to my thoughts on Hall, but I won't be heavy on him. Say I have 10 lineups, probably have a couple with them sprinkled in it. That wouldn't completely write him off. 7K range here. We'll just do it all together. Jordan Spieth, Neiman, McIntyre, Bobby Mack at 77. He made it to Troon finally on Tuesday, so that was good for him. I love his honesty, though. You know, if I won my Nations tournament, I'd probably be like, yep, I ain't going to make it. Reschedule. Bobby Mack, Brian Harmon, Cam Young, Minwoo Lee, JT, Max Homa, man, our buddy, Corey Connors, Aaron Rye, Sahith, Burns, Willie Z, Norin, DJ, Straka, Bhatia, and Pavan. What do you like in the 7K range? And one real quick thing, this is the last year that JT's eligible thanks to his Masters win, by the way.
You mean PGA Championship win?
No, his Masters win.
You talking about Spieth?
No, DJ.
Oh, DJ. I thought you said JT. Sorry.
No, DJ. It's his last year eligible for this tournament until he's going to start qualifying to get back in. Yeah, I don't think he gives a shit. So I don't know. This might be his last one.
I don't see him qualifying or going to try to qualify. Jordan Spieth at 7,900. The price here, I mean, like, so he hasn't missed a cut. I don't know what he did in 2022, but he hasn't missed a cut at the Open Championship since 2016. He finished 30th at this event, at this golf course in 2016. Do you have what he did in 2022?
8th place.
All right, so there you go. He hasn't missed a cut at the Open Championship. He's $7,900. I mean, obviously, like, it's not great coming in. Missed cut last week. Played the John Deere, finished 26th. Travelers, 63rd. But he's just a dude who I feel like loves links golf and can just play it out of his mind sometimes. So I'm willing to take a chance at $7,900 on Jordan Spieth in this field. Brian Harmon won last year, $7,600. Coming off a 21st at the Scottish Open, 9th at the Travelers, 21st at the U.S. Open, and we're going to put him at $7,600. And I'm showing like 10% owned. I don't know what you're looking at.
For Harmon, I'm seeing almost 15.
Yeah. Corey Connors, I wish I would have actually played him last week like I suggested everybody else do. He finished 10th, 27th, Travelers, 9th, U.S. Open. Hasn't missed a cut in over a year now. His last missed cut was the U.S. Open in June of 2023. So playing very solid golf, $7,300. Aaron Rye, $7,300. 4th, 7th, 2nd in his last 3 events. 3 straight top 10s for Aaron Rye. Now, obviously, 2 of those events were the John Deere and the Rocket Mortgage, whatever. But did finish 4th last week and shot 63 on Sunday. So I like Aaron Rye quite a bit. Thigala, I can't believe he's $7,200. 4th last week. And I mean, it just blows my mind that some of these guys are this low. But either way,
what happens when pricing comes out before.
Yeah.
I'll wait till we get to the 6K range. There's a name that stands out right at top of that.
Yeah. And then Akshay at 7,000. second at the Rocket Mortgage, fifth at the Travelers. Made the cut at the U.S. Open this year. Did miss the cut at the PGA Championship, but made the cut at the Masters. So 2 out of 3 made cuts at the majors this year. I don't know if he's got any. Oh, yeah, he's never played an Open Championship, so this will be his first year. So might be a little bit of a shock to the system, but I mean, it's not like he hasn't played major golf already this year.
Yeah, this is going to be fun because you kind of hit on something that I've heard multiple shows discuss so far. Basically, 6,800 to 73 is going to be chalk city because it's a way to play kind of a stars and scrubs, even though this, as you mentioned, these guys aren't scrubs down here. Somehow there's price down here. And we know major pricing varies, but these guys could still be higher. Like you can still make these guys higher, force people to play 5K guys or something. Like there's ways to go about this. And that's what makes this a little frustrating. But some of these guys will miss the cut. And that's where it gets interesting. So, you got Spieth. I understand all the reasons. I just can't torture myself with that. I hope I'm wrong for you guys because you're not alone in that. It's like we say with Spieth at the Masters, Spieth at the Open. No matter what form he has coming in, you just play him. Like you just do it.
But and that's not really necessarily been true with the Masters of late.
So. Yeah, let's say it's slowly down there. That's true. So Neiman's interesting for me because a lot of live guys kind of get overlooked. We know how great he was playing to start the year. He has not played well in majors, but over the last 14 rounds in the model here, those are all major rounds pretty much. Our last 24 rounds, most of those are major rounds. He's still 14th in my model, 7th on the par 5 scorings, which is huge. Pretty good driver, like a fairway finder. So that'll help him out. I'll go back to Bobby Mack. I might regret that, the dude coming off a bender, but he is playing a practice round on Tuesday. I think he'll bounce back knowing that probably second to the Scottish Open in his list of things to win would be the Open Championship, I would just imagine, for Bobby Mack. So I'll go back to him. Really good putter, of course. Brian Harmon, I'm with you. He's still 13th in my model. This fits his game obviously very well. JT at 74. Now we get to have some fun. When it comes to JT, there's a couple things here. It's like he had that, what did he show, like 8 under on Thursday and then just disappeared from the golf tournament.
Yeah. So he shot 62, 70, 72, 71, 71.
Yeah.
62nd.
So yeah, he shot 4 over in the final 3 rounds. He's projected to be around 4% owned, which is fun. $7,400. When you look at the past events for JT, 62nd last week, 5th at the Travelers, miscut at the U.S. Open, had a couple good finishes prior to that. Miscut here last year, 53rd, 40th, 11th miscut. So not great, but for 74, I'm willing to take a chance in a tournament on a guy like Justin Thomas. And then here comes the fun. Connors, Rye, Thagala, I'm with you. Like all amazing plays. Connors and Rye are projected to be around 19% with what I have. Rye's 5th in my model, an amazing links player. He's just playing great golf, period, right now. He's first in good drives in this field. He's 5th on par 4s, 450 to 500. These are key stats for me to look at. And then Connors is Connors, so I'm with you on both of them. There's Sahith. Like Rye's been cheap most of the year. Okay, Connors, whatever. Sahith's actually been really good. Like this one confused me. $7,200. Played well last week. He finished 4th. The Travelers in the U.S. Open, I guess, were the best finishes for Sahith. A miscut here last year, 34th the year before in the British Open, but great plays. Alex Noren at 72 is a guy I'm going to look at. He finished 4th last week at the Scottish Open. Alex Noren is projected 9% rostered at this one. I mentioned 4th or 10th last week, but then that was after 2 missed cuts, and he was playing like he's chalk city prior to that. So this could be a nice little bounce back. 23rd miscut, 11th, 17th in his last 4 open events. So I like that at 7,200. Sepp Straka at 71 coming in some rough form, but 3rd in the field in good drives. And we know he's a great approach player. So putting's always his bugaboo, and I get slower greens, so that could help him out a ton. And then you got Oshke at 7K, which you mentioned. Like it is a great range. It's a great range. And looking at the initial ownership, and a lot of this will change in the next 24 hours. I got Connors at 16, Rye at 16. Where's Sahith? Sahith's at 9. I'm just looking for the pot. Ashke's at 13.5. So depends on where you want to go.
The least of those guys, I would definitely hammer Sahith.
Yeah, he's the least of that crew. But Burns, I don't trust, but he's got pedigree if you want to take chances in terms. He's 3.84%. Sepp Straka is 7%. Noren's 9%. Noren's almost as much as Sahith, which is pretty wild. If you want to go a little higher, like Minwoo's 4.5, Justin Thomas 4.3. So there are pivots, is what I'm trying to say. But I agree with the way where you started there, saying these guys shouldn't be this cheap. And we talk about good chalk. I guarantee. Let's have a fun little game here. So I named 5 guys. The Sahith window, that 5 guys I mentioned there. How many do you think make the cut?
I would say 4.
4 out of the 5. Okay. Yeah, it's good. That's where the fun will begin come Friday. Let's put it that way. Maybe before Friday, unfortunately, but Friday for sure. All right, 6K range starts out with Davis Thompson and some guy named Sung Jae Im at $6,900 and drops down to 6K. So I'm not going to name them all. What do you like in the 6K range? Because I'm just going to say it before you start. Sung Jae Im, 16% ownership. I will eat all of that and just
that sounds low.
Yeah, I'll take it. I could see me opening my app when I wake up Thursday morning and he's 4 over par already. That it's like 32% or something.
Yeah. I mean, 3 straight top 12s, 4th last week for Sung Jae. He did miss the cut at the US Open, but had 2 straight top 10s before that, missed the cut at the PGA Championship, 2 straight top 12s before that. So I mean, like he's being very streaky. And that 4th last week does bode very well. Obviously, you got him. I think a pivot off of him because I do think he will be chalky. Davis Thompson, just playing really well coming in. Won the John Deere, 2nd at the Rocket Mortgage. Played last week at Scottish Open, made the cut. Finished 42nd. Siwoo Kim on down the list here. 26th last week at the Scottish. Of course, I mean, his event history is not great. He's made 1 cut out of 3, but he's just the kind of guy who can be streaky. Adam Scott at 6,700. I mean, like there could be potentially like 2 out of the top 2. I'd say 2 out of the top 5 highest owned players will be 6K players.
Yep.
With Sung Jae and Adam Scott. Adam finished 43rd here in 2016. 33rd at the Open Championship last week, and obviously 2nd place, just kind of a little bit off the radar. It wasn't like he was playing really well coming in, but he hit 80% of the greens, drove it really well, didn't scramble great, but was putting it very well and just murdered the par 5s, 10 under on the par 5s for the week at the Scottish Open last week. Højgaard at 6,700, made the cut, 39th last week at the Scottish Open, and has played Open Championships in the past, finished 23rd at last year's Open Championship. So that's Nikolai. Also like
clarify that one real quick.
6,700 Nikolai. Also like Rasmus at 6,500. Did miss the cut at the Open Championship last year, but 21st Scottish Open, been playing the European Tour pretty well. Ewan Ferguson absolutely burnt me last week at 6,400. And several other people, apparently. I did not realize he was going to be that high owned. So I'm willing to go back this week. His Open Championship, he's played 1 last year, missed the cut. But I think he's going to bounce back this week. Kihida Nakajima at 6,400. The model seems to like him. He missed the cut last year at the Open Championship, but for whatever reason, the model does like him. So that's all that I've got in the 6K range here.
All right. So, yes, we hit the elephant in the room here. Sung Jae Im, I will play him. But I also had Davis Thompson checked off. Like he's 15th in my model, Sung Jae 17th. So I do like Davis Thompson, an amazing par 5 scorer. That's always a plus. Really good around the greens, actually. Just depends on can he find the fairways enough to give him a chance to score. So I do like Davis Thompson with you there. Siwoo, I've been saying him, I think, every show. He's 22nd in my model. He's playing well, just not good enough to contend, but he's like a top 15 to 25 guy somewhere in there. And he's much better at finding the fairway than people give him credit for. He can navigate some goofy weather too. So I like Siwoo at 68. What about Louis Usti at $6,800?
What's he been doing over on the?
I don't get live stats, unfortunately, but I know I've heard his name a lot because it's an Open Championship, and Usti 23rd, miscut 3rd, 20th, 28th. He plays relatively well for $6,800.
I mean, he's not been playing bad on the old live golf there. 4th last tournament, 13th with Drew.
Yeah, so you got 3rd at Valderrama because that place played tough, apparently.
Yes.
Sergio Company won there.
4th at the last week.
Yes. At Valderrama. Okay.
Yeah. And second at another time, I don't know.
He's playing well.
I mean, he's not playing bad, that's for sure. Yeah.
And he likes these starts. So Usti at 68, still have him checked off. I thought I'd roll the dice there. Now it's backed up by form as well. Russell Henley at 67 will be interesting because he's actually not the par 5 scorer I'm looking for here, but his approach game is good. He can find fairways. We know he'll be a really good par 4 scorer if he can take advantage of that. When you look at recent form here for one Russell Henley, 48th of the Travelers, 7th of the U.S. Open, taking a breather since then. Miscut 62nd, miscut here. So not good open history for one Russell Henley. Adam Scott, I'm with you. I'm kind of mad he played so well last week because he's just that old guy you can pencil in down here and probably make a cut and have some fun. So that's a bummer. I do like Nikolai Hogard on this one. Dean Burmeister, if you want to get real dicey, this guy can bomb it. So if the weather's not too crazy and he can find fairways with it, he can become a scoring machine if he gets the right draw here. Keegan Bradley at 66. I don't know where his head's at because he's been off for a bit because named captain. But I always like Keegan in tough conditions. Abraham Answer at 66 is another fun one. He's great. He's good at finding fairways, good at avoiding the big number, pretty good approach game as well. $6,600. When you look at Answer, 49th, 11th, 59th, the last 3 times he's teed it up at the British Open. So Abe Answer would be another guy at 66. Rasmus Hogard, who you mentioned at 65, I like. Jordan L. Smith, I got no problem going back to him at 65. He burned a lot of people last week by missing that cut there. He missed it pretty badly as well. But he's a good Euro Tour player, really good links player, 41st, 47th here at the British Open the last 2 years. So I can go back to Jordan L. Smith if you want. And then the other ones I have, Victor Perez at 62. Really good finish by Vic Perez last week. 10th at the Scottish Open, 44th at the Travelers for Victor Perez. Somehow Victor Perez made an elevated event. That's fun. 41st and 34th the last 2 years at the Open Championship. And then last but not least, the 3 guys at 6K. Matthew Southgate, Matt McNeely, and Lucas Glover were guys I'd be interested in if you need 6K players. All very volatile, but upside, especially Southgate. Southgate's a guy I could see playing very well here. It's kind of a setup that fits him very well. 5K range, what do you like down here? Because I kind of lost focus after a little while.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a few names. That one that my model likes the most is Young Han Song at 5,300. Mateo Manacero would be another guy. CT Pan has got some potential there. Rio, his whatever. Rio at 5,700 would be another guy that's got some potential. CM at 5,700. Yannick Paul. Juice Luton, the model likes him for some reason.
He's been playing pretty well in the Euro Tour.
Yeah, but missed the cut last week. Missed the cut here in 2016. I can't trust it. I will not go below 6K. I mean, I won't go below 64.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to. I'm not praying on anybody to do that. But if you are, John Catlin been playing really well on the Asian Tour and in Live the last few weeks. So he's won at 59. The Asian Tour victory's got him in here, I believe. Ben Griffin, another guy playing really well on the tour. He's pretty good at finding the fairways, so he could be a guy. Austin Eckroat, Sammy Valimaki could be a couple as well. But I like the Juice Luton call, honestly, if you have to. Like Ernie Els is down here if you're feeling really frisky just for a made cut. Probably won't win you the tournament, though, unfortunately. But, yeah, I'm not going to try to be down here if I don't have to be. All right, recapping things, 10K and above, who do you got?
I will say one Mr. Scotty Scheffler.
Since you said Scotty, I'll be different, and I'll say Rory McIlroy. 9K range.
I'm gonna say Morikawa.
I like that. I'll say Hatton, but I like that. I like that range quite a bit. 8K.
Finau.
Yep. You took Finau, so I'll take Shane Lowry. 7K range. Take 2.
Theegala.
And
2. You're gonna give me 2. I'll say Theegala and Harmon.
Theegala and Harmon. Okay, I like that. I'll say Aaron Rye and Alex Noren. 6K range. Go ahead and go 2 there too.
I mean,
and don't say Sung J.M.
All right. Adam Scott and Nikolai Højgaard.
Yep. Just consider us giving you 5 because M was already counted, folks. I'll take Siwoo Kim and I'll take Louis Oosthuizen. I'll take both of them. We'll see where it goes. But I think this tournament's going to be, because this basically 68, 67 to 73 is where a lot of these lineups will be made or broke pretty much in this tournament. If you're looking to build a cash game lineup, how frisky are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to just lock in Sungjae and Adam Scott, right?
Yeah,
I don't know how
Sungjae and Adam Scott for cash. You just have to, because even if they don't make the cut, it's the chalk player. Like you just play that chalk part. That's part of cash. Like for those that play NFL cash, you take the chalk. That's part of it.
And then I would put Morikawa in the lineup as well, and that leaves 8,800. So
yeah, I'll give someone else, since you did Sungjae and Scott. I'll do Sungjae, Scott, and I'll throw in Tony Finau. Tony Finau as well. You could probably do Sungjae, Scott, Finau, and Morikawa and still make it work pretty well. So just gonna throw that out there for everybody. If you're building a tournament lineup, where are you starting?
I like Scotty, Aaron Rye, and Corey Connors.
Okay. I'm gonna. This is tough. I'm gonna give some mid-price guys and let people decide what they want to do up top. I will go with Shane Lowry. Shane Lowry, Alex Noren, and Siwoo Kim. So those should all be relatively lower owned, so you can get your chalk anywhere else you want. All right, Jesse, who do we have winning this thing? This is it Scotty's World, or are we picking someone else?
I don't know. I wanted to really click on Finau at 45, but instead I think I'll just bet him top 5 at 9-1. Otherwise, I mean, these odds suck so bad on DraftKings. It's outrageous. Tom Kim at 45, finished second here last year. Theegala at 60, maybe. Corey Connors at 60. Adam Scott, obviously, similar field, not quite as good, but 65 is not terrible for him.
Yeah, it's not bad. I'm with you. It's tough, and usually the cream rises to the top at most of these. Not all, but more often than not, they show up even with the tough conditions. So you at least like a probably 50-1 guy or better probably coming your way.
Yeah.
So that's where you tell your top 20s, everybody, and have some fun here. Alex Noren at plus 280 to top 20. I think that's fun. Adam Scott's plus 230. Sungjae's plus 230 to top 20. Brian Harmon's plus 220. Holy shit. 225. Connors is plus 225. So Heath plus 225. I play like 10 of these guys, and like 3 or 4 of them make it. You're sitting pretty. That's unbelievable. There's a bunch of them there. I don't want to keep just naming off names, but that's a lot in the top 20 range, folks. You could do a miss the cut parlay if you're feeling fun. I only saw make the cut odds on DraftKings, but it's essentially the same idea if you're doing it the right way. So have some fun with it. But Jesse, final thoughts as we get ready to watch some overnight early morning golf.
Yeah. It's always a fun tournament. It just sucks that it's such bad timing for us over here in the States.
And get ready for the cock, everybody. You got to get on the peacock.
Oh, do we?
Yep. Until you get most of it's on Peacock until like the second half of it's the normal transition.
I would say keep an eye on the weather, and it's a fun tournament. So it's gonna lock at what time does it lock on?
I'll tell you right now. It locks at, if DraftKings wants to load,
1:35 my time. So
10:35 my time. So
yeah. 1:35 a.m.
I won't even be in bed yet. They'll be teeing off probably.
Yep.
It'll be freaking awesome.
You can fall asleep to some, and at least it's always good announcers too. They're quiet and they don't.
And if you guys I enjoy golf on the radio. I know I'm weird like that. This one, they use the Euro broadcasters. It's the best feed you'll ever have. They are the best. They're so good describing golf on the radio. So just throwing that out there. That's another angle. If you're out and about, go check that out as well. But until then, hope you guys have some fun, build some lineups, get at it. We probably won't be with you guys next week. Some golf outings are planned. So probably be back with you guys the following weeks, get ready for the Olympics. So we'll miss the 3M Open. If you have questions, you can hit us up. We'll help you out there. But until next time, check out Jesse on Twitter at DFS Golf Gods, the podcast at Always Press DFS. I'm at BD Intric. This was your 2024 British Open Championship preview. Catch you all next time.